It's time for checking in with Hubert Davis. We all know that this is a highlight of our week.
Yep, let's check in.
And see, our legal team provides us with this highlight. See our commitment, see our results, see our legal team. Proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Coach, congratulations on a very successful weekend in Charlotte.
Yeah.
I think one thing people maybe don't understand is that when you're in the tournament like you are, how do you actually experience the rest of the tournament? Like, I think people think you're just like filling out your bracket and then watching all the games like, oh, is it time to go to the Spectrum Center and play? I'm watching this other game.
That is not what is happening for me. I have not filled out a bracket. I don't know what teams are in what region, what's going on. And that's how I am the whole season. You know, so many times, like at the end of the season, we'll go recruiting and, you know, bumping into all the head coaches, and I go, I apologize. How was your season? You know, because I have no idea. I'm so wrapped up in us that I don't have any time to look at what other teams are doing. And so if you asked me to name the 16 teams that are in the Sweet 16, I could not name them outside of, I mean, I know a lot of them, but I mean, the ACC teams, but I couldn't. And I couldn't tell you who the matchups are. I'm focused on our team and us being the best basketball team that we can become. And it was a really good weekend. I'm glad that we're able to win 2 games in the Charlotte Invitational and that we are invited to the Los Angeles Invitational, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Your TV interview during the Michigan State game got a lot of attention.
Why?
You were pretty fired up. And what is, as a head coach, like when your team's coming, it's a timeout, your team's coming in, and then somebody with it, Steve Kirshner or whoever reminds you is like, hey, coach, don't forget you're supposed to go do this. Like,
yeah.
What's your headspace for that thing?
I'm in game mode, and so like there was a timeout, and I want to talk to the team. And you know, during the NCAA tournament, you have to talk to a sideline reporter, and they asked me a question, and I don't even know what she asked. I just needed to get off my chest how I was feeling and get back and talk to the team. So I don't even know what I said, but I was excited, I was animated, and I was ready to go. I just didn't feel like at the beginning of the game that we had met the competitive fire that we needed to in order to have a chance against a Michigan State team. They were just catching the ball wherever they wanted to. They were posting up, they were scoring, and I just had enough. And and when they asked me in the sideline, I told them I had enough, and then I went to talk to the team and told them I've had enough as well, and I need them to have enough.
So Adam and I have talked about this before. I don't think people understand. Like the Hubert Davis that is sitting here with us right now, or they hear on the radio show, or they saw on game day or whatever, is obviously a very happy, pleasant, nice person. Like game day, like in-game Hubert Davis is a different Hubert Davis.
No, I'm different.
When does that transition start to occur for you?
Like, I don't know exactly, but it can trigger immediately. I know that soon as a player, off the court, smiling, non-confrontational, as soon as I step on the court, I'm looking for conflict. I'm looking for a confrontation. And so I just have always been that way. And I can flip, I can switch like in a second. And I love coaching, I love basketball, I love competing, and it's hard being 53 years old and not being able to go out there and play anymore. And so there's a lot of emotion built up in it. And it's why I tell the guys, I say, like, I don't know how you play this game absent of emotion. And I don't suppress it with the guys. I encourage it. I think to be the best that you can be at anything, your personality and emotions have to come out. And they have got to come out in the right way. But I just don't know how you do it. But when I play basketball and I'm around it, I'm very, very competitive, and I'm very, very emotional.
How long does it take it to come down after? Because I've seen you like immediately after, even when the Tar Heels won, and you're still pretty jacked up.
Yeah, I don't know the exact time that it comes down. That's a great question. That's a question for my wife.
Yeah.
She would
know better.
She would know really well when it comes on, when it goes off, if it goes off.
Eventually it does.
It does.
You in here for
It
checking
does.
in.
It does go off, but it can change very quickly, and I just get really excited and really competitive, and it just comes out that way.
A lot of people, when they go to that red line emotionally, lose the ability to kind of process things and make decisions and things like that. That doesn't happen to you. Like you're still at the red line emotionally, but you're still like, okay, let's make this adjustment. Let's make this defensive switch. How did you learn how to manage those things together?
I don't know if I manage it. I don't. That's just who I am. I just, my job is to be able to, stick with things or make changes, even if I'm emotional or animated. And this is my personality. It's not that this is just who I am. This is who I've been my entire life in regards to anything that means a lot to me, whether it's my faith, my family, basketball, North Carolina. This is my personality, and so it's not anything that goes apart from who I am. This is just the way that I act every day.
It feels like the Tar Heels have had really good success out of timeouts this year, especially that use it or lose it timeout in the first half, which people love that you frequently call. They just love that. It's something
they
people
do?
Like. Oh, yeah. Because otherwise you lose it, and it's timeouts, which is something people understand. When you call that timeout, what kind of things are you looking for to make the decision of how you want to exploit the other team for that one possession?
Well, I mean, there's a number of things that go on. The reason why I called a timeout in the Michigan State game is to get a better offensive lineup in there because we didn't have Elliott in there at the time. There's people that have foul trouble. And so a lot of times I'm thinking about lineups. Can I get a lineup in there that'll give us the best chance to score? I'm thinking about a play that I think that can work against a particular team that we're playing against. And sometimes I'll just roll with it because, I think we've got a play and we've got the lineup that can do something with it. Also, through scouting, a lot of teams try to switch things up. They'll play against Wagner. They ended up playing zone. Mm-hmm. And so during that timeout, I gave them a zone play and I gave them a man play, because you just never know what kind of defense people are going to play against. So there's a number of things that I'm thinking about, whether to call the timeout or not. I don't mind losing it if we have the right play and the right personnel on the floor, but during the Michigan State game, I felt like it was important for us to get the right group out there on the floor. And actually, the first and second option wasn't Harrison. That was a third option, and threw it to Harrison. He's wide open and hit the three, and so I'm glad it worked out.
Felt like one of the more impactful players for you in Charlotte was Jalen Withers in the two games.
Yes.
Really played well in both games. But he has had these moments where he has been very impactful, and then he's had some moments, just like anybody throughout a season, where he hasn't been as impactful. What have you learned about him through this year to try and get that Jalen Withers out there? Because when that Jalen Withers is out there, it feels like it takes your team to a different level.
It does take us to a different level on both ends of the floor. Because of his length and his athleticism, it raises our level of athleticism when he steps on the floor. And what that does is it moves Harrison to the three. Now that makes us big. Harrison at the three, and that just it just changes our team completely on both ends of the floor. So it's a huge impact when he's out there on the floor and he's playing really well. One of the things that I think gets missed is through this, transfer portal, guys, it takes time. Everybody wants it right now. It takes time. It is a big deal. Me and the NBA, I played for 6 teams, and when I got traded or I got picked up by a different team, it took time to get used to the players, the coach, the system, the surroundings where I was living. For these kids, they're changing universities, programs. I mean, he was a part of a program for 4 years, and now he comes here. It takes time with terminology, teammates, system, and I really feel like he's starting to feel comfortable not only about his game, but how his game fits with this team and this program. And it really came out this past weekend in Charlotte. And what a great time. He's from Charlotte, had all of his family and friends there. And for him to put together 2 great games in front of his family was a really big deal for all of us.
Still a couple days until you actually take the court against Alabama. But as we sit here today, what do you know about the Tide? Of course, you saw them last year, but those were 2 different teams.
2 different teams, but very similar the way that they play. I mean, they, from an offensive standpoint, they shoot a ton of threes. Their spectrum in terms of offensively is layups, get to the free throw line, and shoot threes. They don't want to shoot any mid-range jump shots, and so they generate that through lots of ball screen action, isolation, dribble, drive. So we've got to be great defensively in our ball screen defense, but take pride in our individual one-on-one matchups. We just have to. And then, from a defensive standpoint, they're athletic. They can get in the passing lanes and get steals. They want to go up and down. Okay, great. We do too. And so we've got to do it in a way, that we've been doing it all year, attacking but under control, where we're getting the shot that we want. We're taking care of the basketball. We're getting points in the paint and dominating the free throw line in the lane. And just taking care of the basketball, I think, will put us in good position to play against a really good Alabama team.
All right, Coach, last thing before we let you go. Once a month we choose – actually, Carolina basketball coach Davis chooses a charity, an organization in the area that is important to him, important to the team. And our friends at CR Legal Team, our title sponsor here on Checking In at the end of the year, donates very generously to all of these different organizations. And, Coach, this month it is Table. Tell us a little bit about Table and why that is important to you and the Tar Heels.
Yeah, it's great. I always like to highlight, organizations and people that serve in our community. And there's so many organizations and people behind the scenes really going unknown that are helping Orange County, helping this community be the best that it can be, and Table is one of them. I mean, one of the things that they do is deliver healthy food options and meals to kids throughout the Orange County area, and what a great benefit that is for our kids. One of the things that didn't exist when I was in school was about health and nutrition. And, we have a nutritionist for our team, and what an impact it makes on our guys in terms of not only their ability on the court, but also them in the classroom, being able to eat the right foods, being able to eat healthy and be productive wherever they're going. Well, it's not just for student athletes, it's for everybody. And Table serves our kids in our community to be able to give them healthy choices so that they can be the best that they can be, whether it's in school or if they decide to, be a part of any type of athletics or team or any type of activity outside of school.
Coach, always enjoy being with you. Thanks. I'm glad we got nice Hubert Davis, not fired up.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Coach yelling at me.
What if we did next week's at maybe like the under 12 of the Alabama game?
Oh,
it's time for Checking In with Hubert Davis. Coach, come on over here.
Yeah, just come on. I guarantee you will get a different me. Okay.
Coach, thank you as always. We're nearing the end of our Checking In. I think we have one more next week. So
I love when you guys check in.
Well, you just want to check in all through the summer?
Yes, I would like you to check in more.
It is brought to you by our friends at CR Legal Team. CR Commitment, CR Results, CR Legal Team, proud partner of Carolina Athletics.